Hi, and welcome to Healthy Living. I'm Debbie Lyons. I'm here today with Kelly Presnell, Director of Public Relations and Marketing here at Hilton Head Hospital. Great show we have today.
Right, on location. It's
Love
so
it.
fun to go on location. We have a brand new orthopedic unit here at the hospital that just opened. We have a spine center, we opened about 3 years ago, so it's adjacent to that. So, you know, we're really thrilled. We're investing the capital. We're bringing the doctors here to provide, you know, it's our vision for world-class care. So that's what we really want to do. So
Who are we talking to today?
today we have Jen Gatlin. She is the director of the orthopedic unit, spine, and our medical surgical unit, and she's brought along one of her nurses, Mandy Claprood, who specializes in orthopedic and spine care. So thrilled to have a nurse on, you know, who's taking care of the patients.
I'm excited about that.
You know,
Yes.
the patients love to see that. So.
And I do believe this is going to be a really interesting show, so stay with us. We'll be right back here on Healthy Living.
Excuse me. Hi, can I get through, please?
Dr. Newman.
You know, there has to be a better way. A way to skip the ER waiting room. Like this lady over here. All she did was log on to inquicker.com to hold her son's place in line. Now they can wait at home and skip the ER waiting room. Now, which would you choose? This
Dr. Joyner.
or this? Hold your place online at inquicker.com and skip the ER waiting room. Ooh, is that hot cocoa? Oh, help yourself.
We went to the emergency room, and thank heavens we did.
They discovered that I had 2 totally blocked arteries, and I ended up having double bypass open heart surgery. Well, I stayed in the hospital for just a few nights.
To the staff at Hilton Head Hospital, I would express the deepest gratitude that I possess. They literally, quite literally, saved my wife's life.
We're back, and we are here with Jennifer Gatlin, who's the director of the orthopedic unit. But it's interesting because this is a brand new unit. You just recently opened.
It is. We're very excited. We just recently opened this about 6 weeks ago. We have a brand new unit of 8 rooms where we can segregate our orthopedic patients from the general medical population so they get some specialized treatment and care.
But one of the things that's really interesting and exciting about this is the orthopedic side, but you also have a unit for spine patients also.
We do. We have a dedicated unit of 7 additional beds for spine patients. So we're trying real hard to keep our patients happy and get the therapists all engaged in the specific treatment of care for a specific population rather than having our patients scattered around the hospital. They're all in designated areas.
Which makes a lot of sense. It's very multidisciplinary. Why would it be so important to have folks who have shoulders and knees, we were talking about this before we started, to have them in a separate department and then have folks that had spinal issues in a separate department?
Well, it's great for the patients. They really enjoy it. They all they're very competitive people who have joint replacements. They're usually very active, very athletic. They enjoy kind of competing with each other. We have a board in our orthopedic unit where they can race and see who walks the farthest.
Oh, I saw that as we walked in. It's a great sign that says, how far have you walked today? And it's like, oh yeah.
And they're a lot of fun. They're my favorite patient population. So they come in on the same day usually, so they know their neighbors are coming in to have similar surgeries. So they're all very excited to get going.
Talk to me, if you will, about what defines an orthopedic patient and how that is different, or how you would define then a spinal patient.
Okay, our orthopedic patients usually are hip or a knee replacement.
Okay.
They're patients who are getting a joint replaced that's been painful and stiff, and they're coming in to get a new joint so they can get back to an active lifestyle. So they're coming in already with some level of fitness, so they're very eager to get up and get going and very motivated to get well again. So,
what is the typical length of stay? I know that that's probably all over the board, but for a knee replacement or a hip replacement?
It's getting shorter and shorter. It's actually close to 3 days now.
Is that real? Is that right?
Including the day of surgery. So you really actually get up and walk the same day of your surgery in most cases, and start moving that new joint, and you get stronger and stronger each day. And we have some goals for you to reach each day, and then hopefully get to go home.
And that is really one of my questions. I'd love for you to take me through a typical day. If I have surgery on that first day, what does my second day look like, and then my third day?
Okay. The second day, first thing right after breakfast, we'll get you up and start moving right away, get you into at least to the recliner in your room, and then a team of therapists will come in and get you going again, do some muscle strengthening exercises, and then get you walking, and then we give you a little rest.
Right. And you know what's funny is you're saying that, I'm thinking, oh, I think I would be a little apprehensive. Is that a normal response for someone who's just had surgery?
Absolutely. It is major surgery.
Okay.
So what we are actually kicking off next week, we're starting some classes where all of our preoperative patients can come in and learn about
what to expect.
Yes, the common questions, what they should expect to feel like that first day, just exactly what we're talking about, what you're going to do the next day and the third day, and kind of the progression of your exercises. So.
Well, and you talked about, okay, the second day I'm going to be in my chair, then I'm going to perhaps be walking. Then what? Am I in discomfort at that point?
Hopefully not.
If I do my job right.
We have a pretty strict regimen of medications that we give you. The doctors are very much aware of potential side effects that patients have, so we do everything we can to prevent any kind of complication or pain. You will obviously have some discomfort because they've manipulated some muscles and you've had surgery,
right?
But you should be able to still participate in therapy and feel good enough to really get up and get going.
And when you talk about participating in therapy, and I'm just going to use a knee as an example, what does that mean? Am I going to look at my range of motion? Am I going to look at just how I look the day after if I have swelling?
If it's knee surgery, they will check to see how far you're able to bend your knee. That's one of the goals, to keep increasing the range of motion in your joint, strengthening your quadriceps in your legs, strengthening your arm muscles too, which is something a lot of people don't think about when you're focusing on your lower body for the surgery, but you use your arms quite a bit
to
help you get up.
Transfer. I never even thought about that.
So a lot of the therapy that you'll have here is geared towards your upper body as well, to strengthen your arms and make sure you're safe to go home.
I find this fascinating in that, why is it so important that I get up and out of bed so early?
That's a good question. A lot of postoperative complications are caused by immobility. So
for example?
Well, some of the less serious ones would just be constipation, pain and stiffness in your joint. Obviously keeping it moving is better.
Yeah, which makes sense.
But there are more serious complications you can get from lying down in a bed, like pneumonia, blood clots. We do lots of exercises to help prevent both those things, even when you are in the bed. But getting up, that's one of the reasons we want you to get up and get moving so quickly.
Jen, what population do you see? And then what are the typical operations that your physicians here in the orthopedic unit do perform? And then maybe do the same thing for the spine unit.
We see primarily hip and knee replacements.
Okay.
We do also see in the summertime, we'll see a lot of ankle fractures, people falling off their bicycles, on the boogie board at the beach, or
fun stuff.
All the fun stuff.
Right,
So unfortunately, people do fall down and break their bones. So our surgeons here can fix those bones, and then they'll be here on the orthopedic unit.
It's interesting to me when you talk about the orthopedic unit that you talk about active adults, active people who are use it or lose it. They're using it.
Absolutely. People ask, how soon can I go back and play tennis? When am I going to be able to play golf again? Or people that have been kind of maybe used to play tennis 5 times a week. Now you're only playing 3, or then maybe you can only play once a week. So that because of the pain, you're not able to really enjoy the lifestyle you're used to.
Then going back to the spine, what demographic do you see? Who do you usually see, and what kind of surgeries are you seeing?
In the spine unit, we see much younger patients.
Interesting.
Patients who have been in a car accident, or patients just from their degeneration of their discs in their back have some pain that's limiting their movement. We do have a wider range of patients in the spine unit, but those are typically, their average age is a lot younger. So.
Oh, is it really? Now, when we talk about multidisciplinary care, once you go home or you are discharged from the hospital, what does that look like? We've done day 1, that's surgery. Day 2 is, we're going to make you get off. Yes, exactly. Myotherapy. Day 3?
More of the same. You'll have therapy at least twice a day, and physical therapy, and you also have occupational therapy during the days 2 and 3. Hopefully after that, at that point, you're able to go home.
Okay. And the occupational therapy, the goals of that would be?
The occupational therapist helps you with everything,
Shower,
everything you need to do to take care of yourself.
Okay.
Showering, getting in and out of the bed and the bathroom, putting on your clothes, believe it or not. When you have a total hip replacement, there are certain movements that you cannot do in order to keep you safe. Like you can't bend all the way to touch your toes, can't twist. There's several things movements they teach you.
And then will I be sent home with a treatment plan or a plan for all of the therapies?
Yes, when you go home, you'll have a physical therapist come to your house, typically for about 2 weeks. And then once you're able and stronger, you'll go to an outpatient physical therapy office to continue your treatment.
And then do most people recover completely and just, it adds 15 years to your running, walking, whatever?
Yes.
Is there a time span or a timeline for how long these replacements last?
Well, they're getting better and better. I think currently it's somewhere in the range of 15 years for a typical joint. But most people say, why didn't I do this sooner? I'm sorry I waited so long. You know, understanding you're going to go through a recovery period, but once you're up and running and back on your feet, most people are very, very pleased.
And we've been really fortunate here on Healthy Living. We've gotten to interview a lot of the doctors who perform the surgeries, and they're pretty amazing. And they're look at you, you're like, yes, those are our guys. I love it.
We're very excited. We've got a great team of surgeons now. We've just added 2 more great joint replacement surgeons and a sports medicine surgeon to our staff. So
by the time you get a patient in here for a replacement, have they basically been through every other non-invasive option?
Most people have. Most people do try to put it off as long as you can, and certainly you don't want to rush into surgery if you don't need it. But most people have been through lots of physical therapy and lots of doctor visits and steroid injections, and they're just finally at a point where the pain in their joint is impacting their lifestyle and they need to get something else done.
And we're going to talk to one of your nurses here in our second segment, but just in the next 30 seconds, once again, this brand new unit has how many beds?
It has 8 beds.
Does it really? Well, that's pretty impressive here.
Yes.
We're going to be right back. We're going to talk to one of your nurses, Miss Mandy, and we're going to talk about nursing care, special nursing care, and the special nurses that are here on these units. So stay with us. We'll be right back here on Healthy Living.
Excuse me. Hi, can I get through, please?
Dr. Newman.
You know, there has to be a better way. A way to skip the ER waiting room. Like this lady over here. All she did was log on to inquicker.com to hold her son's place in line. Now they can wait at home and skip the ER waiting room. Now, which would you choose? This
Dr. Joyner.
or this? Hold your place online at inquicker.com and skip the ER waiting room. Ooh, is that hot cocoa? Oh, help yourself.
Hilton Head Regional Medical Center is located at 25 Hospital Center Boulevard. When traveling east on William Hilton Parkway, make a left-hand turn on Beach City Road, and the next left, Hospital Center Boulevard will be located just past the Hilton Head Library.
Coastal Carolina Hospital is located on US 278 at Exit 8 on I-95. Telephone is 843-784-8000. On the web, www.coastalhospital.com.
The vision for Hilton Head Spine Center is very clear. It's to provide world-class spine care to our patients.
Physical therapists were there. They were there holding you up. It's nice.
I just love working with all of these patients and their families and getting to know them and helping them on their journey.
My life is definitely better, and I'm glad that I came here to Hilton Head Hospital.
We are back here on Healthy Living. Nurse Mandy is here with us. Say your last name for me.
Claprood.
It's a great last name, and I knew I wouldn't be able to say it, but it's a treat to have you here. We were talking to Jen a little bit about, really more about the orthopedic side of things, but let's also talk about the spine unit. And why it's so important that they are specialized from a nursing point of view.
They require very specialized treatments.
Such as what?
From the way just getting them out of bed.
Okay.
And the type of pain that they have and how to treat that pain and what they need to do to get moving and get out of bed and get on their way to recovery.
And I even want to be more specific about that, because I think that's, as much as you do this every day, so for you it's very intuitive and it's what you've been trained to do. But as for most of lay people, getting out of bed, how hard could that be? What do you mean, a different kind of pain? I don't understand.
Well, when you've had your back operated on or your knee operated on or your hip, you're not able to move in the same way that you or I would to get out of bed. And there's certain ways that you have to move in order to do that safely and with as little pain as possible.
Is that something that you initially do with your patients and then try to teach them how to do it on their own? Because I know if we're going home in 2 or 3 days or 3 or 4 days, I'm going to be apprehensive about trying to get myself in and out of bed.
Absolutely. We try and do a hands-off approach. We're always there to help them, but it's more about the coaching and walking you through it, because ultimately you're going to be the one to do it at home. And so we're there for support and there if you need us, but
I love what she said. It's nurse as coach. And one of the things during the break that we were talking about and we wanted to make sure we talk about is the kind of medicine that you practice.
We practice evidence-based medicine, so everything we do has been backed up by research studies and as much evidence as possible.
And data. Is there a protocol that you all follow?
It is. We have a protocol for the spine and the joint replacements.
Well, not specifically what the protocol is,
right.
But do you follow a protocol?
We do, yes.
And talk to me, if you will, a little bit about the multidisciplinary team. I heard Jen talk about therapists. We were talking about therapists. What is the team of therapists, and who actually are those teams of therapists?
We have numerous therapists that work here at the hospital, and we have therapists that are especially trained in orthopedics and that have, combined 40 years of experience and know just what to do with them.
Is it a real specialized field?
It is, absolutely.
Going back to some of the protocols that would be really important, we were talking about different kinds of therapists. Do you have occupational therapists that come in?
Correct. They help people with dressing and bathing and doing those what we call activities of daily living to what you're going to be doing at home for yourself.
And then how would that differ than a physical therapist that would come in, because they're part of the team too?
Absolutely. Physical therapists help you with ambulation and walking, and also with strengthening those muscles in your arms and your legs to help heal everything around. You want everything around that new joint to be strong so that it can heal properly.
When you actually have a patient, what are their biggest concerns? Are they excited? Are they apprehensive? I mean, what's been your experience? Because you've been 5 years, isn't that what you said? 4 or 5 years? Yeah.
I'd say it's about half and half. Half of the people are really excited to just get out of bed and get back, and other people are really nervous, thinking that they're not going to be able to do it.
That they're not going to be able to do what they were doing?
Even just to get out of bed and walk. They're very nervous about doing that first time.
Do they ever come back and see you all and say, look, I can walk again?
They do, and that's always great. We love seeing people, how great they're doing down the road.
One of the things that has impressed me and that we were talking about before, again, was the way that your team sort of functions together. How does it really work? The physicians do the actual surgeries, and then are you assigned specific patients, or how does that work?
I work back in the 8 units of the orthopedic unit, so the surgeon does the surgery, and then they come up here to me, and I kind of am with them along with the therapist, kind of coaching them through day by day until they go home.
But to do what? Like, they open their eyes that second day, you're there with them, what are you saying to them?
Here's your pain medicine.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I know you feel like that's probably the truth, isn't it? And they're like, we love you. Right, thank you so much.
We do. We try and, we're very conscientious about pre-medicating before therapy. Because it's going to be painful, and we want to limit that as much as possible.
When you talk about the different kind of pain, I've had neck pain once, and it felt like shock. A shock pain. What kind of pain, or how do you describe the kind of pain that you actually feel? Based on what on what your patients are telling you.
Right. Most people say that it's kind of an aching type of feeling.
Okay.
And it can be dull or sharp, and some people feel throbbing. It kind of depends on what you're doing at the time.
Is spinal pain different, or spinal or neck pain going to feel different than a joint pain or a replacement pain?
Typically, yes. Our spine patients have a lot more pain because the surgeries are a lot longer, and they have to move a lot more muscle around to get to the spine.
And can I ask you a little bit about your education and the education of the nurses that are in these units? Because you said they're pretty specialized.
It is. We do training at least once a year. We're constantly in communication with all the physicians, and anytime we get new evidence or research in about maybe we should be doing this way instead of that way.
Exactly.
We always are, you know, constantly doing education and keeping up
fun.
with that.
You said it's a lot of
It
fun.
is
You really
fun.
love it.
I do. I really like it. I like taking care of patients who are driven to get back to what they're doing.
And how do you set goals? One of the things that Jen told us in the first segment is that as the nurse, you all as a team kind of set goals. Is this a patient-centered kind of unit where they set their goals? Do you help? What does all that look like?
It's a little bit of both. You know, I think that each patient comes in having a certain goal, something that they want to work towards. What they want to, you know, I want to be able to golf 5 times a week, or I want to take my wife dancing. And sometimes they get discouraged easily sometimes, and we're always there to help encourage them and help them work towards that goal when sometimes they lose sight of it themselves.
Well, I think that's easy. You know, I know if you've ever been in pain, you can get so kind of down, and I think just because you don't feel good and you can't move around, is part of your job counselor as well as nurse? Probably.
I do. I always try and remind people that, you know, you're on your way. And it might seem tough right now, but you will get there. And this is the road to recovery, and each day is going to get better.
One of the things that we were talking about too is that you are going to be putting in effect where people can actually come and ask questions and get a pretty good feel of what they can expect.
Absolutely.
What's that going to look like? How's that going to work?
It's going to be a class approach where
That'd be fun
myself
to take,
and Jennifer and our therapist are going to be there, and we'll kind of run down everything, and we'll also have an open question and answer portion as well.
Do you find consistent questions that come out that emerge?
Yes, and that's why we kind of do the teaching first, and we have notebooks as well with information on what to expect, so that all of our patients can read through that and come prepared to the pre-op class and ask any additional questions.
And I know spines are probably different than knees and replacements, but what can people just generally expect when they go in from a surgery? I always hear, you know, anesthesia might do this, or the pain might do this. What can they expect?
Well,
broad spectrum question.
Yes, you can expect to be tired the first day. Everybody's usually pretty sleepy from the pain medicine that you get in the surgery and the anesthesia, and as you kind of come out of it, we got you kind of tied down for the first couple hours, just making sure that your blood pressure and you're nice and stable. And then once everything kind of starts wearing off, that's when we start giving you the pain medicine and trying to get you out of bed to get moving, because that's the most important. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And then what else? Then what can I expect?
Just continued coaching and support throughout your stay.
Am I going to feel better and then worse? I mean, you said there's going to be some ebbs and flows to all of this.
There will be, and some people feel really good the first day, and then towards the end of the day just kind of feel tired.
Yes.
Because even though you're not doing a lot, you are doing a lot for what you just had. And so it's easy to get tired, and that's okay. We have little rest periods throughout the day.
And I would think that by the time people get to you, their stamina is sort of down anyway, because obviously they're in enough pain or enough discomfort that they need this.
Exactly, and they haven't been performing and had the activity that they used to have, so their endurance is down a little bit already. But
do you ever find that people are, if their right knee hurts, that they compensate with their left? I mean,
all the time.
Is it interesting to see how do they use arms for transferring, or you just?
No, they usually just use that other leg. The arms generally are pretty weak, so we work on that a lot, trying to get their arms a lot stronger.
Balance something that you think about too?
It is, absolutely. Our therapist will evaluate everybody for that, and we use equipment to help stabilize.
This is fun for us to actually be able to come up on the unit. You know, we were talking, it's kind of like a field trip to see. It's a beautiful unit, and you know, I really appreciate you all taking time out of your nursing day, and Jen over there, out of your director day, to join us here on Healthy Living. I want to thank you all for joining us too here on Healthy Living. Have a great day.